Western Australia introduced its Indigenous cultural heritage laws in earlier 2023. However, they didn't go down very well. It turned out that you would need a consultant's report and spend incredible amounts of time and money to do even minor work. And this culminated in the farcical situation of tree plantings being held up. Notably, tree plantings are exactly the type of thing you would think you would want to encourage. They are good for the environment in general, but now they are being held up by these Indigenous cultural heritage laws, forcing volunteers to spend time and money to get these tree plantings cleared. It also affects farmers, the type of people you would think the government would want to help out. After all, farmers are often doing it tough. They're struggling with droughts, or potentially with floods, or various other things. Natural disasters plague farmers all of the time, and adding costs to farmers only makes their lives more difficult. And those farmers are then going to need to find a way to pass on those costs, potentially adding to inflation that is already harming people's cost of living. And in any case, it now makes farmers' lives more difficult, forcing them to get a cultural heritage report for even minor things. If they want to perhaps build a fence, or plant a tree, or move some dirt, or build a dam, they would need a cultural heritage report, going through many thousands of dollars in so doing. However, it now seems the Western Australian government has actually seen some sense, and is now reportedly looking to repeal those cultural heritage laws. Now, while the Western Australian government should never have brought the laws in to begin with, at least they are seeing some sense, and at least they have seen the error of their ways and are reportedly repealing the law. Now, that is to some extent good. However, the laws should never have been there to begin with. It does, however, have some implications for the voice referendum. After all, the voice referendum is a referendum. If the voice were to get up, you can't just go out and repeal it. You can't just go out and change your mind a couple of months later. And if Western Australia is now feeling the need to go out and change its mind, even though it thought this law was good at the time, then what does it signal about the voice? At the moment, we don't have details about how the voice will operate. Anthony Albanese is deliberately obfuscating about where the treaty is going to follow from the voice, about exactly what the voice is going to do, about exactly what its remit is, about exactly what its powers are going to be. He's very, very vague. He's asking Australians to write a blank check. And if the voice ultimately then goes wrong, well, Australians are stuck with it. They would need to do another referendum to go and repeal the voice. But that would entail the costs and time and expense and risk involved with doing so. It would cost many millions of dollars. You can't just repeal something like you can an Act of Parliament, such as Western Australia has done. You would need to do another referendum, spending many millions of dollars to do so. And this therefore means Australians really need to consider very carefully about whether the voice is something they actually want to vote for. Because unlike with the Western Australia cultural heritage laws, which have needed to be repealed, you can't just go out and repeal the voice. And it is a genuine consideration for many Australians when they are voting on this referendum.